As bikes take the course, again, this is the Bay Area Riders Forum Formula Pacific race. That last race, Formula One, was brought to you by Scuderia West. Again, thank you, Scuderia West, for supplying bikes, services, parts, and friendly people in the Bay Area. But the Bay Area Riders Forum, brought to you by Budman, is always excited to have such a great challenge. And after this last race, we have number 52R, Joey Pasquarella, Matthew Orange, 95, Steven Zumaras, 678, Jose Flores, 28, Steve Metz, 99, Wyatt Ferris, 150, Brian Perriott, 46, Jeremy Toy, 57, Greg McCullough, 25, Joy Higa, 19, Dave Stanton, 53, Jason Lorenzen, 7, Tim Scarrett, 14, Harley Barnes, 62, Eric Go Branson, number 33, Martin Schwartz, number 5, Lenny Hale, 139, Chris Siglin, 1, and Ricky Corey, number 3. Now, Alan, when I was down in the pits earlier, I dropped by to talk to Go Branson, and he said that he can't actually raise his arm much above the shoulder level. He has a very limited mobility. He said, oddly enough, he can still do push-ups, so I said, well, they must be one-handed push-ups. But he has a limited mobility, but he definitely has the drive and the desire and the crew behind him to get that bike back out there.
Yeah, that's only going to be a problem on the cool-down lap when he's trying to wave to the corner workers. It's not going to be. I can't see him having to lift his arm above his shoulder when he's actually riding the bike, but I'm sure it's on his mind. We did talk to him last night about getting some kinesio tape, etc. on there that may help him with the racing, but I don't know if he did anything along those lines. It's going to be so much fun with this race. There are so many contenders, and then you got the wild cards. You got the skinny guy rule with Joey Pasquarella coming up from the last row. He's going to come through some people, and then you got Jason Lorenzen, who's really getting on well with that CBR 1000RR right now, even though he says he's having so much trouble with it. He's going to be out there on 8. Hopefully his preload will stay all the way around this race instead of it disappearing on him. Siglin, Ricky. I don't know if anybody can touch Ricky Corey. If Ricky Corey gets a good start and gets out there in front, then I think he's gone. If we can get the more people in a whole shot, maybe get him in a second or third, make him pass a few people, then I think we may have a problem.
All right, you know, Alan, Ricky Corey's strategy all year has been just get out front and win. And he's been doing extremely well with that strategy. Again, it's taken me a while to really figure out his riding style because, again, he gets so low. And actually, Ricky Corey getting off the bike right then, maybe doing a quick stretch, his own Rossi impersonation. As the 2 board is up, 1 board on its side. Green flag, and we're racing, and it looks like Chris Siglin and Ricky Corey side by side heading up in turn 1. They are still side by side. Bikes are almost touching as they head up the hill, and it looks like Chris Siglin has a good position heading into turn 2, although he is about a half a bike back. He was on the inside. That is a barn burner. We've got a bit of a gap now. Alan, it's your time to fill in the time with various trivia.
Various trivia. No, it's looking good there. Ricky Corey seemed to balk a little bit coming off the start and then gets in the second gear and really started to rail. And Chris Siglin on that outside about half a bike length back. I'm sure Ricky Corey would not give him any quarter as they head into turn 2 on that right-hander. If you're on the right-hand side, you really got to be at least side by side with the bike on the outside, otherwise you're going to get pushed over.
And it's Ricky Corey out in the lead, followed by Chris Siglin. 1-2 heading up the hill. Chris Siglin isn't that far behind him, but it's never good when you let Ricky Corey get out in front of you. He has a tendency to then just run away with it. I see Jeremy Toy working his way up there. I can't pick out Joey Pasquarella yet, but if I was a betting man, I bet he's zipping at least about the top 8 positions already.
We'll certainly find out in about 40 seconds as they come across start-finish, and we'll get all those riders' positions. But they are pretty much spread out. Is that Lenny Hale in 3rd spot? That just looked like him sliding that bike around so much as he's coming down the hill. Hale. He's got that distinctive style.
That's Jeremy Toy right behind Lenny Hale.
And Siglin has got the drive on Ricky Corey as they come out of 10 into 11, really right behind him. We'll see what happens coming up there.
At start finish, it's Ricky Corey, Chris Siglin, then Lenny Hale, and who is that all the way up? Is that? I think that's Joey Pasquarella that's actually coming on up there. No, Brian Perriott. After a disappointing disqualification earlier when he had a jump start, Brian Perriott is up into 4th place, getting ahead of Jeremy Toy. Joey Pasquarella is in 8th spot, so again, my Nostradamus trend is going very well.
as long as you're not forecasting the end of the world by December, and we're okay. But Ricky Corey, Chris Siglin, Lenny Hale, Brian Parriott, Jeremy Toy, Martin Schwark up there, just right in front of Jason Lauritsen, and Jason and Martin had a huge tussle in the earlier race, so that'll be good to see how that goes. Joey Pasquarella is going to come into the mix, but Jason Lauritsen is not an easy guy to pass, so Joey Pasquarella is not going to have it all his own way, and he's on 1000 RR, the same as Jason's is, so they're pretty equal as far as bike's concerned. I'm not sure how much engine work has been done to Pasquarella's bike, but I know that we're tuning it with some new top secret VP fuel.
Up front, there's no change, as Ricky Corey is not gapping Siglin at all. Siglin is all over the tail. He can't get up into passing position yet, but he is not dropping off that pace. As I got to think, off of the first lap, they already are probably doing 139s. Ricky Corey strong into turn number 9. Chris Siglin equally as strong. Very different bikes, a little bit different riding style, but they're just moving. Lenny Hale is now holding up Brian Parriott and Jeremy Toy. Martin Schwark is trying to keep things going in front of, I believe that's Dave Stanton there. Dave Stanton is sometimes mistaken for Joey Pasquarella. And we now see who has to start finish. Ricky Corey, Chris Siglin, Brian Parriott, Lenny Hale, Jeremy Toy. I thought Jeremy Toy was going to be right. And look at Pasquarella in turn number 1. Just goes by Schwark like he's standing still. Made room where I didn't think there was any. That AMA circuit is really giving him so much good experience.
I think that was Martin Schwartz saying, hey kid, you can take that. I'm not going in there at the same speed at the same time as that. So
Joey
Pasquarella. So they're fighting it out there. Martin Schwartz and Joey Pasquarella. Dave Stanton behind them with Jason Lauritsen down in 9th. Eric Gulbranson in 10th right now. So that's your top 10. Further down you got Matthew Orange, Harley Barnes, and Greg McCulloch in 13th.
Of course, I think that Martin Schwartz's biceps are about the same size as Joey Pasquarella's thighs. As they head over into turn number 9. Again, nothing against Pasquarella there, but have you seen Martin Schwartz lately? That guy is an animal. Ricky Corey leading Chris Siglin, but not by much as they come into turn number 8 and then 8A. Ricky Corey is trying to open up a gap, but he just can't get it done as Chris Siglin keeps that big BMW motoring.
Yeah, he has gapped it a little bit, and then we got the Pasquarella coming up, and then Brian Parriott is putting on a great show.
Look at Lenny Hale again, sliding for a good 50 feet as he's trying to fight off. Is that Pasquarella right behind him there? Oh, that's Toy. Pasquarella's working right now. You know, Parriott, Toy, and Pasquarella all have kind of similar color schemes, which I would not have thought. The white, yellow, and blues in there, maybe some greens. And here comes Ricky Corey, Chris Siglin. And look at that, Lenny Hale is not letting Toy have anything on him. He's just slammed the door on Jeremy Toy coming into turn number 1.
Yeah, I thought Toy was going to be a sandwich right up against the wall there as Lenny Hale came across. Toy had a fantastic drive at 11 and 12, so it was almost up beside Lenny Hale, but Lenny just moved across and Toy backed it out just to make sure he wasn't going to get sandwiched in the wall. So the leaders is just going to come out at 6 in a second, and we'll see if Ricky Corey's managed to open up any more of a lead over Chris Siglin. We hope Chris Siglin is keeping him honest and keeping him close. That way we can have a good race all the way to the end of this fantastic 10-lap race for Formula Pacific this afternoon.
Well, we could put hope in one hand and dreams and realities in the other, and I guess the reality is going to win out because Ricky Corey has just opened up a fast lap, dropping down to a 138.4. I think he's capable of doing 137s, and Siglin is starting to fall off just a little bit as they head into turn number 8. Ricky Corey with great drive out of 8A, dropping down his front wheel as he gets ready for the hard braking. And Chris Siglin's got a friend coming up to say hi. Chris Siglin's no longer going to be battling trying to take first place. He's going to try to maintain second as he is now in definite threat from Brian Parriott as we come into a braking zone. Jeremy Toy got around Lenny Hale finally, and he's starting to try to reel in Brian Parriott. Brian Parriott all over the back of Chris Siglin coming out of turn number 11. I think Siglin's going to have the power, but Parriott is such a monster on the brakes as they come into turn number 1. I would not be surprised to see a change in position in this next lap.
Yeah, it looked like Hale had some kind of problem there, or he's just dropping back, and Toy is just motored away from him. So the next thing Lenny Hale's going to have to worry about is the people who are coming behind him is Joey Pasquarella and Martin Schwartz and Dave Stanton and Jason Lauritsen. So
and there's Gogo Branson right behind Lauritsen. Eric is doing pretty well, doing 142s on a freshly rebuilt bike with parts off of a showroom stock bike. And of course, with his injuries, look at the heart out of Eric O'Branson as he's gotten himself up into the top 10.
So let's run down the top 10 from reverse. Eric O'Branson in 10th, Jason Luritzen in 9th, David Stanton in 8th, Martin Schwartz in 7th, Joey Pasquarella in 6th, Lenny Hill in 5th, Jeremy Toy in 4th, Brian Parry in 3rd, 2nd for Siglin, and Ricky Corey in 1st. So it may have been
changes.
There's
an update. Perriott got around Siglin as I thought he might in that back section. And Perriott, all he needs is a couple of braking opportunities, and he will come right by you. That guy is just so strong on the brakes. As we look over at turn 8A, Ricky Corey is now going to be trying to defend against Brian Perriott, and that's a braking challenge I don't think I've seen yet. I know Ricky's really strong on the brakes, but I would love to see that happen. Maybe we can get some use out of the forward-facing camera on Ricky Corey's bike. That thing's basically brand new. It hasn't really seen much action.
Yeah, we're going to go for the cross flags right now. So we are halfway distance in this. Remember, it's a 10-lap race here for Formula Pacific. So a little bit longer than the rest as Ricky Corey rips it across start finish. And Brian Parry is behind him. Chris Siglin still in 3rd, followed by Jeremy Toy. Jeremy Toy's trying hard to close down on Siglin, looking for a podium out of that.
And look at that, we have Joe for the Riders doing his best impersonation of a cone as he's right past the start finish, getting some of those excellent head-on shots. So I believe we heard Jeremy Toy might have a little bit of an off-track excursion. That will allow Chris Siglin to get past him.
It's all quiet as the bikes our leaders are behind us in 4 and 5. You should see them coming out of turn 6 in probably about 5-10 seconds. There they go. So Ricky Corey's a little bit in front of what my expectations was, so he is opening up that gap.
Yeah, let's see, no, Brian Perriott still in 2nd place. I'm going to try, Toy was behind him. Chris Siglin in 3rd, and they seem to be kind of slotting in those positions. Perriott is going a touch faster right now than Ricky Corey. Actually, in this last lap, I think he went a good half a second faster. Ricky Corey doesn't have anyone pushing him, so hopefully he's got somebody who's giving him pit signals, letting him know that he's going to have a challenge in the name of Brian Perriott real soon. But look at Ricky Corey, so smooth through turn number 9. Perriott equally as smooth. Chris Siglin, gee, these guys are all on the exact same line, just with a beautiful flow through the new turn 9. Thanks again, Sonoma Raceway Sears Point, for giving us that new alternative in turn number 9 to open up the flow on that track and make it a little less of a bus stop.
Yeah, it looks like Pasquarella's kind of stuck there in 6th. He's not gaining on Hale at all. And Jeremy Toy is back out there. He lost a little bit of space on Lenny Hale when he did that little runoff, but Hale's still not close enough to even challenge him. Joey Pasquarella sitting up just before the start-finish line there. I would have thought he'd gone a little bit further on the brakes before hitting it, but not sure about that bike. There's Jason Luritzen.
And there's Joe for the Riders, again doing his cone impression. He's a couple cones further down, getting those great shots of the track right there. Love your photographers will find anything to hide behind and try to blend in with the scenery.
Yeah, you just don't want them being a distraction. You know, you're coming down there and you're looking for your braking marker and suddenly you see Joe's face. You know, that could really throw you off.
And look at that. It's Brian Perriott is reeling in Ricky Corey. There's a few laps left. He might be able to get it done, but catching Ricky Corey is one thing. Getting past him is a whole nother thing. But if anybody can pass Ricky Corey on the brakes, it could be Brian Perriott.
We just heard that Gogo had a mechanical and is off in 2 right now, unfortunately. So Gogo had some problem with the bike and took the bike off in turn 2.
Leaders into turn number 9. No change up front. Perriott, look at Perriott sliding that bike into turn number 9. Just so smooth. He has made up a little bit more distance. He's only about 10 bikes back behind Ricky Corey right now. Ricky Corey could have a challenge. Now again, if you're in race number 9, remember that these calls are going to be delayed. We'll give you first call at the checkered flag, basically. As leaders are coming to turn number 11. Ricky Corey, Brian Perriott, and then Chris Siglin. Siglin has lost touch with the lead, but Perriott is definitely going to put a challenge up to Ricky Corey for that lead.
Looks like we got something on the track up there in the 2. We're getting the debris flag or the fluids flag up on there at the end of the rumble strip. So that's out there at the moment, just letting the riders know when they come down to expect something out there. Hopefully the turn workers can get out there and clean that up. If not, will we run that flag for the whole rest of the race?
And the flag's down already. They must have gotten it that quick. We gotta love our experienced and professional turn workers. These guys keep the race going. They're so fast and so efficient. So we tried to find the leaders. It should be Ricky Corey, followed by Brian Perriott. The question is, by how much? And the answer is not much. Ricky Corey is keeping about an 8-bike lead now on Brian Perriott, but we're coming into some hard braking zones, and Brian Perriott is so strong in those brake zones.
Yeah, they're going to come out of turn 7 right now. Lean over to the left and then right left as they come down into 8. It's really cool watching the AMA guys come through there, as long as they don't launch their bike up over the hay bales.
Well, you got to remember, both these guys are AMA guys. I've seen Ricky Corey doing a number of Miller or Laguna Seca. I believe he was darn near top 10 over at Laguna Seca, Mazda Raceway. Brian Perriott, of course, has been doing the circuit a long time, did the Boxer Cup in Europe for a number of years. They come into turn number 11. Perriott, hard on the brakes, has made up most of the distance to Ricky Corey. He's now 1 bike back. Brian Perriott has caught up to Ricky Corey. We're on a horsepower section now. Ricky Corey gets an excellent drive coming out, but Brian Perriott has come up to play. Brian Perriott only about 5 bike lengths back, but we have some hard braking zones up in turn 4 and some other sections of the track that are going to allow Brian Perriott to close that gap again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come out of 6, if they're neck and neck. It'll be interesting to see what kind of motor Ricky Corey's bike's got over Brian Perriott as they go up into 7. That'll be really cool to see the rest of our field coming through almost as individuals. There's very few battles going on further down.
Well, Ricky Corey Racing has really figured out how to get the most power out of that R1. Again, that bike is just absolutely a fire breather. To be able to keep in front of some of these known horsepower bikes like the BMW, it's really a testament to what Ricky Corey Racing has been able to do with that engine. And there they are, nose to tail. Brian Perriott all over the back of Ricky Corey. We have ourselves a race for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Heading into turn number 7, another braking zone. Brian Perriott sliding around, looking to make a move. Settles back in for right now as we come into the S's. Alan, I gotta think we're gonna see something in turn 9 this lap.
Yeah, he's back a little bit. We'll see how his driver is coming through 8 and over the wheelie bump as he closes down, but I don't think he's got enough to pass under the brakes. He's been playing that all day, but Ricky Corey is just every bit as hard as him on the brakes down in the 9. Where he's going to close it is in the 11. So watch for the drive around 10, and then we'll see Brian Perriott. This is where he did it last lap. As they got in 11, he closed that 8 or 9 bike length all the way down to 1, just like that. He's done it again. Ricky Corey's coming out. Let's see what kind of drive he gets this time. There he goes.
White flag is flying. Ricky Corey, Brian Perriott, they're about the same distance they were last time. Brian's really going to have to give it his all. Again, I have no idea if Ricky Corey has a pit crew down there. He must have somebody giving him signals. I do see Kenny Noonan out there with his 50th birthday hat. Finally figured out what that was in the brakes. And I've got confirmation Ricky Corey does have his pit signals coming in, so he knows that he has Brian Perriott breathing down his neck. And that means he knows that he cannot leave anything open in a braking zone.
Pasquarella all over the back of Lenny Hale coming across start-finish. So we should probably see some kind of change there, because Joey Pasquarella is not going to sit behind Lenny Hale. But Lenny Hale is not easy to pass. So we'll wait for our leaders to come out of turn 6. They're expecting Ricky Corey just to be just ahead, and he is. There they go, all the way up into 7. Ricky Corey getting that power down on that bike, drawing away a little bit from Perriott. I think what we're going to see this time is I'm going to bet for a lunge up the inside from Perriott in the 11 for a block pass on Ricky Corey.
I think we're going to see it at turn 9. I really got to think he's got to drive it. He's up close. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. Ricky Corey is just so strong. You almost have to wait for him to make a mistake. Brian Perriott coming deep into turn number 9. Look at him on the brakes. He's catching up all the distance. As they're going through 9, he is flicking that thing. That doesn't even look possible how much lean angle he got on the bike. He's driving out of turn number 10. Brian Perriott only about 3 bikes behind Ricky Corey as they come into turn number 11.
He's not close enough for the block pass, but he's going to try the drive. Ricky Corey's got it out there. He's got the drive on. Ricky Corey's going to take a win. As Ricky Corey the winner. That was great racing from
Brian Perriott in second place, and here's a battle for third. It's going to be Chris Siglin just ahead of Jeremy Toy. Some great action. Come find us down at the winner's circle right now for the podium celebration, and this is your first call for race number 9.
Here's Pasquarella and Hale. Pasquarella and Hale. Woo! Lenny Hale almost colliding with Pasquarella as they swung to the right. That was pretty close. A bit too close for comfort for most people. Stanton does the wheelie across start finish. Comes Martin Schwartz. And where's Jason Loritzen? There he comes on the back wheel. That'd be another $50. Thank you very much. Matthew Orange and Steve Metz should be Harley Barnes, Greg McCullough, as the rest of the bikes come back in and finish off their race. So, if you are pit crew for Ricky Corey, then please make sure we have a rear stand down there at the winner circle, because we are going to do winner circle for Formula Pacific right now. So our top three: Ricky Corey, Brian Parriott, second, and Chris Siglin. Get those crews with their rear stands and maybe a drink for the riders and whatever sponsorship hats, etc. you need. And Vic Anderson will be handing over to him down in the winner circle.